Welcome to Face. Our guest today is Vineeta Kumar. She is a newly appointed president of iGIG in Lexington, a community activist. We are going to talk to her about iGIG and also how the Indian Americans or anyone interested in community service or local politics can get involved. And we are going to talk to her about all these issues with Vineeta. Vineeta, welcome to our show, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Pendra, for having me. It's such a pleasure.
Excellent. Now, you pronounce my name absolutely perfectly the way it should be, Upendra, yes. Many times people call me Upendra, but Upendra is the perfect pronunciation. Thank you.
It's good to get that validation. I've always struggled with Ram and Rama and, Krishna and Krishna. I was like, when did Ram become Rama?
Yeah, so no, absolutely true. If you go to my village, people still call me Upendra, nobody call Upendra. So
Yes.
that's a good one, sure. So now let's talk about, I have personally have been a big fan of iGIG and what the Indian Americans have done in Lexington in terms of their civic involvement and their activities. So let's start with you just became president of this organization. So tell us a little bit about that and GIG.
Sure, Upendra. So iGIG actually stands for Indian Americans of Lexington Getting Involved Group. It's in its current form, it's existed for 2 years, formalized as iGIG 2 years ago. But in a different format, it's existed for many years. Actually, the pioneers of Getting Involved Group, even before it was called Getting Involved Group, are a few people within the town and very well-known individuals, Narayanji and Dineshji, who've been very active in the town since the 70s and 80s.
You mean Narayan Bhatia and Dinesh Patel, right?
Narayan Bhatia and Dinesh Patel, yes.
Sure.
They are the ones who planted the seed of GIG in a different format several years ago, and energized a number of people to get involved in the town over the years. I got involved in GIG 4 years ago, actually. So this is my 4 years running in-town meeting. So GIG is basically, your iGIG is getting involved in civic engagement. Basically, it's a platform that encourages and facilitates involvement within town activities. It could be something that the town is doing on a project basis. It could be a town election, taking a position in the town meeting. It could be taking a committee or board position. So GIG's objective is to encourage, energize, and facilitate people's involvement in civic activities.
Okay. And so now what is your challenge now as a president of iGIG?
Well, it's always good. It's always difficult to top off something that has been done so well already, right? So this is an initiative that started in some format several years ago, and over the years we've done very well. We have 27 iGIG members. So iGIG members means there are 27 people who are of Indian American origin who are currently involved in the town, either in an elected or an appointed position. And most of this has really happened over the last 3 years. So you can imagine how successful it has been, this initiative. And it's really been grassroots, getting to the Indian American community, telling them about what they can do, how they can engage, how they can prepare, and then once they are part of the either the town meeting or a committee or board, hand-holding them through the process so that they can be successful, right? So through simple efforts like that, we've reached this point. So my challenge is to continue to build on this foundation and take it to the next level. So I'll tell you, we had our first officers meeting today. We had our election last Sunday. So I'm 1 week into this position.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Yes. We had our first officers meeting this afternoon, just before this conversation.
So can you tell us a little bit who are the other officers?
Yes, absolutely. So I am president. Our first vice president is Jyotsna K. She was also one of the vice presidents in the last term. So she's doing her 3rd year or 2nd year in this. Second vice president is Sunny Chandra. He's also been an officer last year. And our secretary / treasurer is Vineeta Verma, same name as me. And our second secretary is Vikas Kinger. All of these people have been in town meeting for at least one term. Sunny has been there for multiple terms. And they're all very experienced long timers in the town.
Okay. So now, definitely, I think we have written a lot about town of Lexington, that how successful it has been in terms of getting really involved in the local political level,
right.
And maybe in the nationwide. I think this is maybe the first first town here in the U.S. where Indian Americans are so active, and they are really elected to so many local seats. How you have done this, and how other towns and cities can learn from this?
Yeah, that's such a good question. So when we started GIG and then iGIG, from the time I've been involved, we get requests from other towns all the time. In fact, our December meeting, which is our annual meeting where we bring a lot of people in to talk about how the process works and to get them energized about the next election, we invite communities, neighboring communities as well. And a number of people do come, and they have over the years asked us questions about how can we replicate this. And I know that behind the scenes, Narayan Bhatia and Dinesh Patel and others have been involved in providing that support or best practices. What we haven't done is to formally organize and say, well, how do we now take our best practices and our learnings and help other communities actually establish something similar? So one of the things we want to do this year, in addition to building on the foundation, and we actually, Upendra, this year we have a three-pronged plan for iGIG. It's expand, it's engage, expand, and elevate. So, and within the expand part is basically how do we take this to other towns? How do we take our learnings and help everybody else do it as well? But I think the simplest thing that towns can do right now in the Indian American communities, and actually any other ethnic community in any other town, is to take the plunge. We want to do this. Who are the people who are willing to take the lead, file your nomination, go and run a campaign, and then encourage other people to do the same? So I think a number of other towns are already doing it. We know that some of the neighboring towns are doing it. In fact, within our own town itself, other ethnic communities have also taken a lead and said,
that's a great, yeah.
Yes, what iGIG has done is commendable, and they're replicating it as well.
Excellent. Now, when are the elections in Lexington, next elections?
So our next election is on March 1st. It always happens on the first Monday of March. So this one is scheduled for March 1st. We do think that this time there might be mail-in ballot as well. I don't have the final logistics on that exactly, but March 1st is the election date. More importantly though, Upendra, the deadline for incumbents to file in and confirm that they will be rerunning is January 4th.
So which is coming up very soon.
Which is coming up really fast. And
sure.
This time we have 13 Indian Americans who are up for re-election. So
how many?
13, 1-3.
13, okay.
So 13 town meeting, and one of them is also a school committee member, which is a town-wide position. And for new members who want to run for election, the deadline is January 11th. So those are two very important dates that everybody should make a note of and not miss those dates and get their nominations in.
Excellent. And how many total Indian Americans are members of the town meeting right now?
There are 27 total members, 24 are town meeting members, and 3 are committee and board members.
Board members, excellent. Yes. Now, just let me ask you this one. If you have to give just one advice, say to any other town where the population of Indian Americans is very high, what will be that one particular advice?
Get involved, go and participate in whatever is happening in the town, and express your opinion. That's where it starts. my advice to most of the people that I know is what I did is I wanted to take the conversation from my living room to where I can actually create an impact. So that would be my advice. Take the conversation where you can make a change and impact.
Okay. Now, before I let you go, I just also tell our viewers and readers a little bit about yourself as well.
Oh, wow. That's the most difficult question, Upen.
Sure. I know you have been quite active, in business world as well. So just wanted to understand a little bit more about you.
So, yeah, I'm one of those people who likes to do a lot of things. Okay. And anybody who knows me knows that. So if something excites me, I find the time for it. And that is how I find the time for civic engagement. Professionally, I am an associate vice president in one of the leading IT services firms in the world. I work in the financial services capital markets area. I've done that for a couple of decades now. I define myself as a management consultant, even though a lot of the work that I do is really managing business, hundreds of millions of dollars of work for our customers. I also do a lot of advisory work for fintech. So that's something I got into a few years ago when I took a break from the professional world. And to stay connected, I started investing my time in the startup space and really enjoyed working with fintechs and shaping their path. And there's one fintech specifically that I've continued to stay vested in, and I'm excited about them. That's really all. I mean, I'm very active in the town, of course. I feel that building roots in the community and building the community itself is an important part of our existence. So I'm a co-president of the LHS PTO, which is a very demanding job. I must acknowledge that. I also joined this year as a board member of VisionAid, which is a nonprofit.
Yeah, we are very familiar with that. Yeah, sure.
Yes, I know. Revati is one of the Women of the Year winners, right? Yeah. It's an amazing organization, and the kind of work that they're doing for the visually impaired and the impact they're creating is just awesome. So very proud that I got associated with that.
Okay. Vineeta, thank you very much for your time and all the best for iGIG.
Thank you, Payne. It was very nice talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Sure.
Bye.